there will definitely be a lot of Telugu-ness to it. I'm from Andhra and I'm quite attached. And growing up, I've seen my cousins, everyone get married in those rituals or those cultural nuances being part of the weddings. So I think that would definitely be a part of my wedding. I would like that traditionality.
I genuinely feel marriages usually get lost between the facade. Like when there's a facade of wedding, I think there has to be like union, and that should be celebrated in a very
intimate way.
Yeah, it can't be celebrated amongst people.
I hope you ask this question to Arjun also.
Yes, I will.
No, because you should, because generally women get asked this question.
No, of course I will.
But like,
Yeah, but I think,
Hi everyone, welcome to News 18, and today we have with us the team of Made in Heaven Season 2. Neeraj sir, Shivani, Sobhita and Alankrita ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I am very excited.
Can imagine.
Hyped.
Finally.
Yeah.
So, be very honest, how many times have you guys been asked when is Made in Heaven Season 2 coming? Because Zoya Akhtar actually said that she has been trolled.
We've all been trolled, I think.
I mean, I'm the newcomer here, but I'm getting asked so many times that, when is it coming? Like, ask these guys.
But it feels nice, that people are invested and they're looking forward to it. So it's a nice feeling.
Yeah. But I'm sure you also realize the excitement, the expectations that are really there. Do you sense any kind of pressure to live up to the first season?
I mean, of course, there's a sense of, there is a pressure in the sense that one feels that, if it was a show that connected so deeply, people connected so deeply with it, and you do feel that you don't want to disappoint them, with season 2. So there is that kind of pressure, but I think it's also very empowering because I think we got so much love for the first season that it really encouraged us to be able to really tell the stories that we want to in season 2 and really not hold back in terms of digging deeper into the characters and into the themes that we had explored in season 1, and then just like make things more nuanced, more layered. So I think in that sense, it's been very, very encouraging, and I think we do feel very supported by all the love that we got, and everyone who's really sort of enjoyed the show and rooted for the characters, felt with them, for them, also felt so much for the episodic stories,
Yeah.
So I think so it's a nice feeling to know that you're loved and wanted, but it's scary also because you hope that people really that people enjoy this season as well.
Yeah. I mean, you are known as Tara by many, and by the way, a lot of people think your name is Jazz. To come out of these characters, I mean, they have given you so much, I'm sure a lot has changed after the first season of Made in Heaven. But, has it ever been difficult to actually be known as something else, come out of these things?
I mean, I've had the opportunity to do a variety of parts in my brief career, but the ones that have attained maximum mainstream visibility, be it with the audiences or the media, those projects or those parts will automatically end up being part of your identity in the public consciousness. Nothing to fight there. I guess it's like that's how people have first been introduced to you. A lot of people. And hopefully, as an actor, you hope that you get to do more parts that eventually people look back and look at it like like a string of pearls. So you do your bit and then can't complain really.
No, not really.
I think it feels good actually when people you're being known by your character's name because that means people have really related to the character, or they loved you, or you did a good job.
Right.
But yes, again, it's the same thing that you have to, again, create that for yourself where people can overshadow and you can get on and play more characters which are people can remember it as much as they remembered your previous one. So I think, it's one's job, and till that we can keep looking for something that remains with them.
Yeah. Tell me, in a random room full of people, if somebody says Tara or Jazz out loud, will you turn your back?
We do, always.
We ourselves used to call them Tara Jazz of
Really?
off the
Started
set
season
also.
1. We used to always call them Tara, Karan, the ADs also. Yeah. It was
Till
never
date. Wow.
Jazz has come, Jazz is running late, whatever.
They never till date, like Prashant, the costume person, they don't remember Shivani.
Yeah.
They call me Jazz and they've met my friends and they're like, oh, we're Shivani's friends. Like, who's Shivani? Oh, Jazz. That's how they remember you. So I think.
In airports,
Yeah.
nobody says Tara, they say Tara ma'am. If someone wants to reach out and say, they're like, we want to say, like they want to pay a compliment or they want a picture, whatever, they'll say, Tara ma'am. And I'm just like, that's me. Hi. So it's
That's a
become part of my
personality.
identity.
That's a personality.
Yeah. But credit to great writing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's really
Absolutely.
it's
Great writing. Neeraj sir, like you said, this is they're veterans now. You're entering Made in Heaven, the world of that. The Made in Heaven veteran, that's what I mean.
Made in heaven.
Yeah. I mean, the kind of films that we have seen you doing, be it a Masan, which is, I still remember this Gili Poochi also. Now, this is a world that's very, very different from those. This is larger than life. Of course, there are flawed characters here as well. But could you tell me a little bit about your process of keeping your core sensibility intact and merging, let's say, with this big world?
I mean, aesthetically and technically is what I think I have had a different look at it. Because obviously it's a season 1, you have to continue season 2, then you have to match the look and feel and the way the show is about. So with that, I think that has been very comfortable because Zoya and Rima and Alankrita have all been very helpful for me to guide me into it. That I absolutely enjoyed working through the hard work of it, but at the same time, I think I have retained my worldview.
Yeah.
I've retained my politics. I've retained the way I approach it, look at characters, and like the motivations to do certain things remains the same. Be it if I'm doing Gili Poochi or Masan or in Made in Heaven, because I always look at the core of the emotions.
Right.
So if I attach myself with them, then the vessel doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they are wearing a Sabyasachi or they're wearing a street side costume. For me, it's like, are they true to their characters? For me, my pursuit has been that. And also, my whole penchant has been that I want to bring, what do I bring to the table in the sense like what do I want to do slightly differently would be that more culturally toned weddings is what I thought I would want to bring in, because I feel every wedding is the best display of an individual home's culture.
Absolutely.
It's the best brandishing of your culture,
Yeah.
and which is based on a lot of rituals per se. So that is what I've tried to like bring in a little more. So I guess I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I made great friendships also.
Yes.
Yeah, and to learn from these women has been truly, truly humbling.
That's such a lovely thing to say.
Yeah, of course. Like about time that we have these things where otherwise usually you hear the term outmanned, but it's good to have this where I am the minority and I'm loving it.
Wow. Okay, what has been your favorite wedding this season, if you can tell us?
We can't name it.
I think you'll have to wait for August.
Yeah, because you can't name it.
Yeah.
Even naming it is a giveaway.
Yeah.
But I think France was fun.
Yeah, France is the most fun, I think.
Fun wedding.
Fun. I think I the last episode, I don't want to mention the last episode was...
I think we'll end up giving away too much.
Yeah.
Okay. ठीक है. But okay, this you tell me. What do you think is the biggest misconception that's there about a big fat Indian wedding and which has been broken now?
I mean, it's very, very difficult to pull off a wedding. Just to like put together so many things and to manage so many perceptions and so many attitudes of people. To bring it up, it's actually way more difficult than I imagined in my head. And also there's so much of, this is a strange feeling. Like the other day I was like thinking about it and how difficult must be for a woman to like, you spent your 20 odd years in one home, you're born and brought up, And one fine day you've been told to like move out, bag and baggage, and to find a new home. That must be so daunting. That is the big thing that I take from Made in Heaven, because it really hit me that, and I then went back to my own. I have 3 elder sisters, and all of them got married, and I wondered that how they must have felt.
Yeah.
And I feel it's not a good practice. I think it should be the reverse.
Yeah, I think
But,
people just think that women are only concerned about, like, for their wedding day, they're concerned about their lehengas or makeups. I think that's not true.
Yeah.
Then
There's
also,
much
you're
more.
reminded how unfortunate this event is also about, like how the brides are made to cry. Like,
Yeah.
please cry. You're supposed to
judged
cry.
if you don't cry.
Yeah, you're judged if you don't cry. I mean, that some person is actually deeming that. I don't know. Nobody's ever thought about how difficult it must be for someone. I mean, devoid of the gender, it will be like even for anyone to just leave your home. Like, imagine if I ask you leave bag and baggage now to some new country. It's literally that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then you don't have to express it the way
Yeah.
the people
Yeah.
want you to, or at least expects you to
Yeah.
express your feelings. It's sad.
You want to add something?
All I
You're in
could
deep thought.
No, I was just taken back a few months to my sister's wedding. She got married in February. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
The putting together, there's ceremonies and there's just so much around that coming together of 2 people. My memory of that was just, I was really emotional, and there was just a lot going underneath. But you have family, friends, relatives, neighbors, well-wishers, and they are there to just give you their regards and wish you well. And you're going through your own inner, the feeling of just entering a new world, like he was saying. There's just so much. Even though it's going to be a new phase of your life, which, hopefully will be beautiful. But still that shift, that sort of shedding of one layer there's just so much anxiety to it. And yet, on the surface, you have to be pleasant because they mean well. There's so many layers that go through,
Right.
that a person goes through. And it's such a charged room.
Yeah.
High energy. So I think it's very overwhelming. And it took me a while to actually process it. It was a blur. It was hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ma'am, do you want to add something?
I have to say that maybe I don't think I had so many. I actually had a fair idea.
Okay.
Even though I've never been married, but I had a fair idea that all that glitters is not gold, kind of a vibe about weddings. So I think maybe that's why we ended up writing it the way we did, that it doesn't have, I think for Zoya Rehmani, it didn't have that. We were not viewing the idea of a woman getting married through rose-tinted glasses, and I think that's why the show is kind of what it is. But I think the one learning that happened for me in Made in Heaven season 1 is when we were, just starting off writing, we went to meet some wedding planners.
Okay.
And I think that was a real eye-opener for me, like how much they have to do and also how much they know about what's actually going on with the family. How privy they are to such personal moments of joy and heartbreak and drama, and how they have to keep the show together. And I think that was something that we were all like, oh my God, because, like in all our conversations with wedding planners, they actually know exactly what's going on. So I think that idea that these people who are planning the wedding, they are not because they are with the couple and the family for those many weeks and months. They know exactly what's going on. It's such a beautiful peek into what is actually sort of going on. I think for me, that was very revelatory. I never realized that the people organizing the wedding they are in on it. They are in on all the tension, and they can see through the facade also. So I think, and also they are the ones who have to get the show on the road no matter what happens. So I think that was something that was something very new for me
Right,
that I learned,
right.
and I think we all were like, oh wow, and I think we try to incorporate that
Yeah.
into the show. Like how much the MIH crew actually, how involved they are with what's going on with the couple. You know, it's not that the couple story is going on and they don't know. They are in it. They are like part of the whole thing.
Right, right. Okay, so, each one of you have brought something incredible to the table as far as the larger, your individual career goes. For the two of you, you have portrayed these women who do not necessarily, adhere to the stereotype of an Indian heroine, let's say. Ma'am, you have portrayed women, also individuals with sexual desires, sexually liberal individuals. You have portrayed, characters on the hinges. Like you said here, you wanted to bring out the cultural tone, that these weddings have. When it comes to the bigger picture, I'm talking about the big screen films. Do you see this intersectionality transcending from OTT to the big screen someday?
Yes, I do. And I think it's something that is very important. And we have seen it. There's been a film like Sairat, for instance, I think, which did so well in the theaters. So I do feel that, intersectionality is not an academic idea. It is the lived reality of how we all are, and different things intersect to make us inhabit a certain life, and our identities are never just one thing, and many things are at play. And I think that if we break it down from the academic to like a more cultural way, it's just that we have multiple truths, multiple identities, and all of them are intersecting to make us who we are. That's the truth of our lives.
Right.
So I think it's just about having more nuanced and layered writing, and more nuanced and layered characters. So I do think that it is the only way forward. I think it's not about will it happen, or it's just a matter of time. It has to happen because that's actually the truth of our lives. We are never, I'm not just a woman, I have many other identities which come into play, and it's important that we see characters, we see them in their different sort of hues, and see them in their completeness rather than just picking out only one aspect and seeing them in that. So yeah, I feel it's actually the only way forward, and I do feel that, whether it's Neeraj or me, I think in our own ways we have tried to deal with intersectionality in our work in whatever way we have. I don't know.
But in fact, it's already happened. Like in films, feature films, Margarita with a Straw is a big example for an absolutely intersectional film. Also, like I can't remember the name, but Abhishek Chaube's film, the last one, the Sonchidiya. There's a very interesting episode that happens in the film where Phulan Devi is talking to another woman, and they talk about, you never find this kind of thing talking when two women are talking, and Phulan says that, you have that privilege of being Brahmin or something, and I don't have that privilege. So, like she said, all women are not equal. They have different privileges of different oppression that they all go through. So, I think the lens of intersectionality has been there, but yeah, I think because of the OTT space coming in, because of the lot of experimenting happening, and I'm sure even Netflix was kind of like jittery about what is going to happen with like Gili Pucci coming in. Okay. But like it took me about a year and a half to write that film, and also because COVID. That's why I got the benefit of writing it for a year and a half. But it was supremely challenging because intersectionality is also not easy to do, because see, once you try to take side with one kind of one minority, one marginalization, you tend to subjugate the other one. So it's very difficult to play off. It was like, for me at least, it was very difficult to play caste versus sexuality versus gender versus patriarchy. It's a very tough spot to be in. But yeah, I'm glad it's happening.
Yes, yes. Lastly, oh sorry, you're saying something.
No, when you said that playing parts that are unconventional, I actually think, I genuinely believe that Tara is perhaps one of the most relatable protagonists we have around, because like she said, the grayness of characters is also not a cinematic ideal. It is the reality of every human being. So to have characters that have grayness is more natural, normal, relatable than otherwise.
Yeah. Okay.
What I like about Tara's character is that, traditionally a man will look at that character and say, gold digger. But
Yeah.
it breaks that notion so well, because it breaks it down to saying that, this is individual autonomy. It's financial autonomy that this woman is asking. It's not, she's not asking something that's undue for her. So that is a very good change for me. And I mean, that's why I like that character.
Right. No, I'm just ending it on a lighter note. The two of you, now that you've played wedding planners, do you see a big fat wedding happening for yourself? Or that's too much of a task, you think?
I actually have no idea. What I do know for sure is that there will definitely be a lot of Telugu-ness to it. I'm from Andhra, and I'm quite attached. And growing up, I've seen my cousins, everyone get married in those rituals and those cultural nuances being part of the weddings. So I think that would definitely be a part of my wedding. I would like that traditionality. That aside, I don't know if it would be big and grand or intimate and close knit. I have no idea.
I don't think so.
No.
I think after being part of this show, I genuinely feel marriages usually get lost between the facade. Like when there's a facade of wedding, I think there has to be like union, and that should be celebrated in a very
Intimate way.
Yeah, it can't be celebrated amongst people.
I hope you ask
who
this
are
question
not
to
involved.
Arjun also.
Yes, I will.
No,
Yeah.
because you should, because generally women get asked this
about
question
No,
a
no,
lot.
of course I will.
But like,
Yeah, but I think, correct.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much
Thanks,
to all of
Titas.
you.
Thank
All
you
the
so much.
very
Thank you.
best for Made in Heaven season
Thank
2.
you.
I'm so
Thank you.
excited too. I'm looking forward to watch it.
We're also
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you.